This week are the two last parashot right before Moshe gives his last blessing to the nation. These are the last parashot of the interaction with him. They're called Nitzavim and Vayelech. Nitzavim and Vayelech, they're two words that contradict each other. Nitzavim is standing strong, firm, and Vayelech is walking, is dynamic, is moving. So there's a very famous question that the commentaries come and ask about Moshe Rabbeinu. Why does it say Vayelech Moshe Vayedaber el kol ha'am? Why doesn't it just say that he spoke to the nation? Why does it say Vayelech? So I heard from Rabbi Tetz, he once said that Vayelech Moshe is teaching us, what is the next pasuk? That he's 120 years old. Moshe is teaching us that even when he's 120 years old, he's still walking, he's still dynamic, he's still growing. It doesn't end only when you're 120. I think that these two parashot, even though it sounds like they contradict each other, they actually complete each other, they create a synergy. In our lives, when we want to better ourselves, right before Rosh Hashanah, every person does a year review, looks at his year, wants to know what he wants to better himself. But it's a process. There's a process to do. And the first stage is stand, be firm, be nitzavim, stand still and actually look upon your year, see what was wrong. And then the next stage is actually to be dynamic, is to grow, is what am I going to do next? Because if I only think and I don't do anything about it, then I'm not doing anything. And if I only run, and that's what we do all day, we run, we go to work, we come home, we don't actually have time to think, then we're not really changing anything. The dynamic is stand, take a look what you want to change, and then take action. And the last part of the parasha, if you look at the end of Vayelech, there's an interesting case. Yoshua and Moshe come together, stand in front of God, and God does something very weird. Moshe's finishing his job as the leader of the Jewish people for 40 years. We would think he would get a nice sign, a nice gift. What does God say to him? Well, look, you're going to die, and then all the Jewish people are going to go and worship idols, and they're going to go off the derech. And that's it. It's pretty depressing to say to Moshe, but I think that that's exactly the lesson. Is even when we stand and we want to better ourselves and all that, there will always be cracks. There will always be times that we will fall and bump our heads and bump our knees, and things will go wrong, even spiritually. But that's part of the process. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay for having what's called a mashber, because that is only going to make us greater. It means that the next step needs greater spiritual and more physical and spiritual powers that we don't have right now. And being stressful and having difficult times is what brings those strengths out. And I only can wish us that in this new year, we'll learn that process. The beginning, looking ahead, looking back, and then taking the first step and growing slowly. And if we fall and if we're hurt, we just continue going, because we will reach the point at the end. Shabbat Shalom.